opportunities are great, but the international business sophistication may be slightly less than in Shanghai or Beijing. These are all things to take into account. The first thing people ask is whether they need a Chinese entity. The answer is, for a lot of things that smaller companies and even larger companies are doing, the answer is no, you don't necessarily need a Chinese entity. But there are alternatives. No entity at all is one alternative. A representative office, a wholly owned subsidiary, joint venture, there are all kinds of specialized entities, and there are various business considerations that affect which of those options you choose. So the takeaway from this slide is you probably need to have some sort of legal presence in China. You need to have a presence. You need to have people there who are looking out for what you're doing. But you probably also need to have a legal presence. What kind of legal presence is what you need for lawyers, or Victor, or the Chinese consulate in Hong Kong. There are lots of other issues in China that, just as there are in the U.S., but those of you who are familiar with how business is done and the things you need to worry about in the U.S., you should basically start from the proposition that it's going to be different in China, and probably different in ways which there are a lot of Chinese people in this room. I don't know if they're from China. If you're not actually from China, you will be surprised in the ways that you're surprised in China. So please don't overlook even the simple things. Remember, in the U.S., particularly here in Silicon Valley, the emperor in Washington, D.C., no offense to my colleague from D.C., the emperor in D.C. is very far away, and there are high mountains between here and there, and we really don't think about the government too much here. In China, as I say, with deference to Councillor Wang, who is from the Chinese government, you cannot blow your nose in China unless the government says it's okay. So the government is going to be in your business from across the board. Get used to it, plan for it. It will be all right. Basically, here's my takeaway for this. As long as you are respectful, you don't act like the ugly American, things will be okay for you in China. It's a friendly place to do business, but remember, the government really has the power of life or death over your business on a day-to-day basis. Don't tick them off. Some sectors are completely restricted in China. The most important one for Silicon Valley companies is the internet. The internet now is somewhat open to foreign investment. That is, it's possible to have a 50-50 joint venture in China that does business over the internet. But I think there are, Councilor Long can probably tell me how many actually, I don't think there are more than a dozen joint venture internet licenses that have been granted. So if you're going to be doing business using the internet in China, commercial business using the internet, you need to think about special structures. Okay, you can do a lot of things with no legal presence, including exploring the market, doing customer liaison. The tripwire is when you start to hire Chinese employees, you're going to need a Chinese entity. Also beware of the tax problem of doing stuff in China for long enough, and for tax purposes you will be deemed to be in China and subject to Chinese tax. So if your activities are quite extensive, even if you don't have a legal presence in China, you have to check with your accountants and lawyers and see if you're subject to Chinese tax. Again, be respectful. If you are subject to Chinese tax, it's a bad idea not to file a Chinese tax return, because somebody will catch you, and it's much better to have done it right in the first place. You can have a representative office to house customer liaison and market exploration activity. It's cheaper, but do not try to do business, actual commercial business, in a representative office. For that, you need the charming name, Woofie. How many people know what a woofie is? Most people I talk to in Silicon Valley, they say, what, are you in a veterinarian business? Woofie is a wholly foreign-owned enterprise, pronounced woofie, and it basically means a 100% subsidiary in China. There are all kinds of differences between a company here. The most important ones are there is a minimum registered capital. That is, you have to inject a minimum amount of money. Not true in the U.S. You can set up a corporation in the U.S. without injecting any money. In China, for foreign-owned companies, the minimum registered capital is oftentimes as high as $100,000 US, which you can pay them over time and you can use for operations. But still, if you're a brand new company, $100,000 is a lot of money. There are certain governance issues that you will need to be aware of. The most preferred stock or anything like that in China. It takes, again, with reference to our colleagues from the Chinese Consulate General, it takes forever to form a Chinese company, honestly, 60 to 90 days. So if you're used to Delaware, which is about 3 days, or California, which is about a week or week and a half, in China, it's like 60 to 90 days. So don't wait until the last minute. There will be time required. Joint ventures are common in China. It used to be that almost every, now you may need a joint venture if you're in a restricted sector in China. But if you're not in a restricted sector, you can do it by yourself. You don't have to have a joint venture. That's a change in the last 10 years. But you may want to have a joint venture for all the reasons that you would partner with a strategic partner here in the U.S. Access to channels, I think it was probably Tom who was talking about access. A good joint venture partner will really help you in China, but joint ventures are notoriously difficult to put together and to maintain, and especially in China. There are all kinds of different joint venture types in China also. There are special entities, which this group really doesn't need to know about, although there was somebody asking about banking. Banking falls into a special category, and there are special types of entities. If you're getting the idea that they have a lot of laws, they have a lot of regulations in China. Not so many laws, but lots of regulations. M&A in China is, there's a lot of hair on every deal in China. Now, if you're expanding into China, M&A may be the way to go because of the buy and build decision. So you may be forced for business reasons into an M&A deal. A couple things you should know in addition to the trust with verify, and that is, see previous slide. The government is all over your M&A deal. In order to engage in any foreign M&A, that is where a foreign party is buying a business in China, whether it's an asset deal or a stock deal, you must have approval from the Chinese government in order to close your deal. And the approval not only goes to the terms and whether it's in one sector or another, but it goes to the economics of the deal. The target is going to require evaluation by a third-party evaluation, a registered valuation operation. Cynics will tell you that you can get any appraisal you're willing to pay for, but there is a limit. Now, the rationale for this, of course, is that China is now about 50 years after the end of a century of the West basically taking whatever the heck they wanted to out of China. And so the current Chinese government is sensitive to foreigners going a little overboard in terms of taking assets out of China. So the government is in the deal from the beginning. The government approval will be required. It takes longer and more approvals are involved. Labor and employment, you need to know about it. It's not exactly an at-will country in terms of employment, but it's not France either. Banking and finance, you need a bank account. The currency is not convertible. You cannot just you can't make renminbi money in China. Renminbi is the Chinese currency. You can't make profits in China and send them whenever you feel like it back to the U.S. The currency is not convertible. Every time money crosses the border, it has to be approved by, see the previous slide, has to be approved by my favorite Chinese regulatory agency, the one that's in charge of money. It's called SAFE, like where you put your money, the State Administration of Foreign Exchange, and they will want to know why you're sending the money back and forth. One of the main concerns of the Chinese government is speculation in the renminbi because it's getting so much stronger. So the Chinese government does not want you sending a whole bunch of dollars into the U.S. on the argument that you're going to need to spend it, converting it all into renminbi and sitting on it while it appreciates on the international currency markets. Again, the government is in there all the time. You'll see in the slides there are other points of contrast between the U.S. and China that I think are important for people who are not used to China. The rule of law, as I mentioned earlier, is kind of a newfangled idea in China. Its counterpart is ruled by discretion. China got along just fine, thank you very much, for about 4,000 years without the rule of law. We kind of don't understand how they managed to do that, but that's our problem, because it worked fine for the Chinese for about 4,000 years. And it basically means the government wants to have discretion on a case-by-case basis whether it lets you do something or not. Our system is rigid rules. Everybody gets to play by the Chinese system is much more case-by-case. See previous slide. The government's going to be involved in all your activities, and you are going to need to maintain good relationships with the government. Just don't do it in a way that will require you to call Derek to bail you out. This is my takeaway for China. It is it is the most. I've done deals in 50 countries over the last 30 years. I grew up in Asia, not in China. China is the most exciting and mystifying and frustrating